ABC News contributor and former State Department official Steve Ganyard joins me now for more. So, Steve, accident or game of chicken here?
I think it's closer to game of chicken, but I actually think that it's the Chinese are saying we're not going to try to start a fight, but if one happens, we're ready and we're here. So I'll take a little bit of a contrary view here. The U.S. called those intercepts the Russian aircraft or the Chinese aircraft flying out in front of the U.S. reconnaissance aircraft and the Chinese ship cutting off the U.S. ship. They called it unprofessional. To me, it looked very professional. The Chinese warship actually called on the radio to the U.S. warship and said, we are going to cut in front of you. And they did. And you can see the wake of that ship, that the ship is accelerating, giving the U.S. the ship a chance to slow down. If you look at the airplane that flies in front of the U.S. reconnaissance aircraft, you can tell it's accelerating, and it does a very lazy turn out in front. We've seen much more reckless behavior out of the Russians in the region of Crimea. So I think that these were both very professionally done. They were there to make a statement, and they did make a statement, and it's going to play quite well back in Beijing with the domestic audience.
Yeah, it's all about optics, right? I mean, these are international waters, yet China says the U.S. warship shouldn't have been there in the first place. But U.S. warships are always on high alert, right, Steve? Especially in this region. And they conduct these routine checks aiming to prevent or even have to defeat, if they need to, any type of provocation.
Yes. So the international law is, the accepted international law is the 12 nautical miles off the coast of a sovereign country is that country's waters. The Taiwan Strait is well outside of 12 nautical miles off the Chinese coast, but the Chinese don't believe that international law applies to them. They have created what's called a 9-dash line that goes way, way out into the Western Pacific, and so they believe that this is their territorial waters. Now, nobody else believes that, but they're going to continue to assert themselves and say that it is their territorial waters, and it's going to lead to more of these confrontations. How far they go is the real question here.
All right. Well, we'll definitely follow it. And, of course, it's not the first aggressive action, right, we have witnessed recently between the U.S. and China. Yet Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is calling for more communication with China. But is talking to China really the answer, Steve, especially after an incident like this and the others we've seen in the past year?
Yeah, so let's take the Chinese view to understand what they might be thinking. As you note, they've turned down Secretary Austin. They've turned down Secretary Blinken. I think that Mr. Sullivan got sort of a pull aside. It wasn't a significant meeting. So the U.S. is trying very hard to get a meeting. But if you're China, you're saying, wait a minute, the U.S., you're trying to decouple your economy. You've pulled away chips that we need for our economy. You're doing everything you can to isolate us, and now you're running your ships in our backyard in what we consider our territory. So if you're China, you say, like, why should I talk to you, United States? I don't have anything to say to you because you're being very aggressive towards me. So I think that at this point, the U.S. is trying so hard, we're going to have to see a concession out of the U.S. So in the days and weeks to come, we ought to be looking for some sort of a gesture by the United States that would sort of calm the Chinese irritation.
All right, Steve Ganyard, appreciate the insight.
Thanks, Kara.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.